Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and one of the things I found after building lots of pergolas and tree houses and patio furniture and just even some outdoor swings and things like that is it's really nice if you can use, the power tools like this, but when you're using big bits and you're running this thing on, the drill setting to try to get through something, it really does create a bit of a hazard when things, kind of lock up and, it'll really jerk your hand. And sometimes you're on a ladder or in a tree or something at an awkward angle and you really don't want it to break your wrist or go flying out. So I have heard about using impact drivers like this 1/2-inch Milwaukee here with auger bits. So I wanted to try it out. And I also realized that I can do finish work with a ratchet as well if there's some small component of the job where I don't want to blast through with something a little more powerful. And it all comes down to starting with this. This is a 7/16 inch, that's that part up here, 1/2-inch impact adapter. And you can get these, they're like $25, something like that. It's a Milwaukee Shockwave. And what it allows you to do is take your 1/2-inch impact driver, and I actually wish I had a different anvil on this because I have a little trouble keeping this thing on. But once that's on, then I can insert, pop that on, I can insert a, like this Irwin Speedbore 1-inch auger bit. And when I do that, I now have all of the power and yet a lot of the safety of an impact driver like this. Because when I crank it up to, its higher settings, this will impact and continue to impact rather than start to twist around, and grab my wrist and, maybe throw me out of the tree. And it actually works quite well. It does tend to come off here when I'm trying to remove the bit. I'll show you, I did some video of that, but it's really effective. And it gets this thing out in the field a lot more because I don't use it as much. One of the things I also ran into, keep this on here, is Milwaukee makes extensions like this. They make, I think there's a 6-inch, and they also make a 9-inch as well. See if they've marked that. Anyway, this one's the impact rated. This says it's a 4828 1030 quick lock mechanism. So I can drop it in this quick lock here, drop that in, and then I can drop my bit in here on this end, lock it in. So now I have the ability to go through a pretty good sized tree. I haven't run into a situation yet, haven't used it much, just played around with it. But if I needed to, I could extend it to an even longer impact extension to go through any size tree that I'm going to encounter. And that's where these quick locks come in, is because if this pops off, which it does seem to do fairly easily, I don't want it stuck in a tree. Plus then, of course, I can use it on hand tools as well and do the finish work. Anyway, I didn't know much about this. I've kind of been exploring it, reading about it, and trying to figure out how to, or what the best setup is. And actually running a 7/16 inch adapter on my 1/2-inch to run here gives me a lot of opportunities now to think about how I can use other 7/16 inch drivers of any kind on this end. I've been exploring it with, upping my 1/2-inch game so I can use these tools a little more often. But this one really turned out to be a winner. So let's go outside and take a look at it. So here it is. It's set on the lowest setting, the number 1. So that's the torque rating that's pretty low. And it just kind of clicks away and then locks up. Still no stress on the hand. So then I'm going to crank it up here to the full setting. And this just drives in. It's using the impact, but it just blasts through with very little stress on the hand. I'm kind of holding on just lightly and not having so much resistance. A drill, I'd have to have 2 hands, maybe even a handle at the 90-degree position or something just to hang on, but this won't knock you off a ladder. Here's another piece of wood. just blasts right through this. This was something I saw that linemen use, or people are working on the large, wooden poles when they need to drive stuff in. But as you can see, I'm wedged in there, and because of the kind of the hog ring, it just pops out, and I can't get this out. It's in there really tight, so I have to try to back it out, but it's not happening too easily, so I'm playing around with that side. I really need something that locks on to that anvil, but obviously this is also a wet piece of wood too. That was kind of a test, and you can see. Anyway, with that, Doc out.